What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I saw something over on Reddit. Believe it or not, in the Modern Warfare 2 Reddit board, I can't believe that thing is still pumping. But I can't lie, although I don't completely agree with everything that the, original poster said, I still think it has a lot of meaning to it. And it's one of the main reasons why the Call of Duty community, out of all different communities, drive me the most crazy, especially being a part of this community for the longest time. Again, as you guys already know, I've been playing since Call of Duty 2, the big red one. And I have literally watched every single player and person and personality. And again, I know people are going to say, well, you can't say this for everybody, it's not true. But I'm telling you, I've watched people. I have physically watched people say one thing and then completely crumble on that opinion and say the other. And then once again, completely crumble on that opinion and say, it's a game of ping pong at this point within Call of Duty. And I think that we should go ahead and discuss. And, whether it's a couple of chuckles or whether you get pissed, I think we can get some value out of the topic of today's video. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and the second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, guys are interested, gonna link that channel in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, I saw this post over on the Modern Warfare 2 subreddit board by Flo saying, what I think every time someone calls this the worst COD of all time. And then it's a comparison between Modern Warfare 2, the classic, and then Modern Warfare 2 2022. Big maps, best COD ever. Big maps, Modern Warfare 2 2022, horrifying COD. Fast time to kill in Modern Warfare 2 2009, extraordinarily fast. Best COD ever. Fast time to kill in Modern Warfare 2 2022, worst COD in the universe. Dumb perks, best COD. Dumb perks, worst COD. You guys get the overall idea here. Slow limited movement, amazing. And then slow limited movement in Modern Warfare 2 2022, horrifying. You guys understand everything that I'm trying to discuss. Now, I'm not trying to defend Modern Warfare 2 2022 here whatsoever. And I think that we could all agree, because I know a lot of people in the comment section are going to say, oh, this is a hard... No. I think we can all agree that Modern Warfare 2 2022 was not a good COD. But I said this throughout Modern Warfare 2 2022's whole life cycle. I remember discussing this 24/7 all the time. And, I'm still going to stand on this ground. That's the one thing on this channel that you guys can always expect from me. If it's a bad take, it is what it is. I'm not going to change it because on this channel, I discuss my opinion. I don't care if my opinion is popular. I don't care if my opinion is unpopular. The whole purpose is that I discuss my opinion and just don't follow along with the crowd. But as I was saying, I stood on this ground throughout the whole lifespan of Modern Warfare 2 2022. And to me personally, it was the truth. Everybody complained about the wrong things within Modern Warfare 2 2022, and it was driving me absolutely crazy. You could tell the difference between the people who genuinely just didn't like what Modern Warfare 2 2022 was and the changes they made, and they just weren't there for it, and the people who were just hating to absolutely hate, and, just claiming all the OG CODs are the best without understanding the hypocrisy of, their complaints modern day. I actually saw a perfect response under this post here by Gold that said, purposely forgetting so many of the issues people had with Modern Warfare 2022. Bad spawns, although I will say bad spawns have been here ever since the beginning of time in Call of Duty. Even Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, all of them had bad spawns, so, that's a little iffy, but still, let's continue on. Perks weren't just dumb, but were time activated, yes. Maps weren't just big, but also had little to no flow. Don't completely agree. And literally half the time, people didn't play objectives, so a huge chunk of games ended without anyone reaching the target score. Huge oversimplification by OP, and it's highly misleading. But it's not misleading whatsoever. I'm going to be honest with you guys. There were negative problems. Like he said, bad spawns, the perks being on a timer. I do not agree whatsoever with the maps, and I've actually went back to old school maps and compared. And I'll tell you what, I just don't understand where the complaint comes from, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. But again, we'll discuss that a little bit later on. Attachments weighing down your speed of the weapon. Everybody's complaining about slide canceling and all this stuff, when that wasn't the biggest issue with Modern Warfare 2 2022. The fact that a red dot made it to where I had to, it wasn't an option, I had to ADS walk everywhere, because if I didn't ADS walk, I would get caught off guard, because I wouldn't be able to ADS in time if I'm running and gunning in a Call of Duty experience, which is odd. It's awkward. That should never be a thing. But the attachments weighed you down so freaking much. Modern Warfare 2 2022 had a ridiculous list of negative problems that, as I stated, definitely puts it up there as, not one of the best CODs, okay? I had plenty of issues. But I don't think that the poster was, saying anything wrong here. Every single person in the world complained that big maps was the problem with Modern Warfare 2 2022. And I know a lot of people are going to say, no, it's not just that, but it is. Because people said it in all these different games. Modern Warfare 3 2023, all the DLC maps, although everybody claims they're amazing now, they all said, oh, these maps are too big. Black Ops Cold War, all these maps are too big. Modern Warfare 2019, all these maps are too big. Vanguard, all these maps are too big. Literally, every single game. The main complaint, we're not talking about the specifics of the maps, the flow of the maps. We're not talking about if they're well. No. The only complaint I see is that maps are too freaking big. And the funniest part about this whole scenario is that when we got BO6, then everybody changed their opinions and said, oh, these maps are too small. Like, I don't usually defend the COD developers, but if that's what I had to listen to year after year after year, I would go absolutely insane and I would not work on this game whatsoever because the community has lost their freaking minds. I'm telling you, they have no clue what they want whatsoever. Like, I think what it comes down to is that people are too simple with their critiques, and they don't actually go into detail like the other person did. You know, personally, I didn't think the maps were that bad in Modern Warfare 2 2022, but, you know, this person said it had bad flow, and it made the engagements long, and it made it to a point where a lot of objective gamers didn't even finish because nobody wanted to move around them. That's fair. Although I might not agree, at least they went into detail and explained why they didn't like it. Whereas everybody else just says, maps big, horrible. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, guys, everybody wants oversimplified 3-lane maps that are, you know, the size of Nuketown. But do you guys even remember what the maps were like in BO2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, World at War, COD 4? Like, everybody always praises these games as the best COD games ever, yet they will literally still spew out the most hypocritical statements I think I have ever heard. Same thing with the time to kill. Everybody keeps saying in Modern Warfare 2 2022, and also Modern Warfare 2019, I think, suffered from the same complaint, and other COD games, of course, that the time to kill is way too fast, way too quick. Guys, everybody's begging for them to go back to a classic COD game. Classic COD has stupidly fast time to kill. Stupidly fast time to kill. That's why it's a Twitch shooter, and it's based on reaction time, because anybody can kill anyone. It's not like, you know, when we went over to BO4, and the time to kill went to 150, and, you know, you had to actually have more drawn-out gunfights. No, that's not classic COD. Classic COD, 9 times out of 10, if you shot first, you were going to get the kill. Not all the times, but the time to kill was that fast that was usually how everything turned out. And then fast forward to current date, now the time to kill's too fast, but they're still going to preach that they want something like a classic COD, and these classic CODs are their favorite games, but they're going to complain that the time to kill's makes no sense. Slow limited movement. This is the one that drives me the most insane, because I've seen this through multiple different Call of Duty games where, once again, everybody's preaching that COD 4 through BO2 are the best COD games ever made. They're so freaking good. Yet every single time they try to reduce the movement, and I'm not talking about, the attachments weighing down your guns in Modern Warfare 2 2022, because again, that was a bad. And as I stated, I'm not defending Modern Warfare 2 2022 because they did a lot of boneheaded decisions which ruined the overall flow of the game and made it a horrible Call of Duty title. But let me tell you something. Removing slide canceling was not one of the problems with movement. You know what I'm saying? It just simply was not. Making sure jump shotting and all this other stuff. Like, Modern Warfare 2 2022, although it had a bunch of problems, it tried to tone the movement back to make it more like a classic Call of Duty game. They tried to do that with Modern Warfare 2019, and it failed because slide canceling became a thing, and that's what quickened up the pace of that game. And then they tried again with Modern Warfare 2 2022, and the problem there is that they couldn't do it all the way because now the attachments are weighing down the guns and making you slow, which ruin the overall experience. That, you know, Infinity Ward, they keep getting so close to making a pretty good COD, but they always have these boneheaded decisions that ruin everything. That's the biggest issue with Infinity Ward. But again, it's just a hilarious comparison that literally all these people are preaching that COD 4 through BO2 are amazing, yet and still, like with World War II, for example, let's move away from Modern Warfare 2. World War II, they, you know, removed unlimited sprint, and the whole community complained for the whole year until they fixed it. I'm not lying to you guys. How does that make any sense? How can you say you enjoy classic COD, but you don't want a limited sprint system where the maps are, you know, built around not being able to sprint 24/7? You have to actually time your movement and work around the map accordingly. That's classic COD. Yet and still, you know, everybody claims classic COD is their favorite, but they'll crap on that movement style. Or again, Modern Warfare 2 2022, the biggest complaint I heard all year is, oh, it's no slide canceling. This is too slow. All the time, day in, day out. And some of these people are the same people who say Modern Warfare 2 or BO2 are their favorite games. Guys, you couldn't even sprint for an unlimited amount of time in these classic CODs without a perk like Marathon. You couldn't even sprint fast without lightweight. Like, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. And as I say, I know a lot of people are going to come out and say, oh, this guy's defending Modern Warfare 2, but I'm not. I'm just trying to bring some light to the topic that the Call of Duty community might be the most hypocritical community out there, where they claim that they want something very specific, but when that is given to them, they'll still complain about it, no matter what. But ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm defending Modern Warfare 2 2022, because a lot of people had valid criticism, and a lot of it, as I stated, is true. You know, I had a lot of problems that just went noticed, that the developers just kind of pushed to the side, which have ruined the overall experience. But as I stated, you will see it time and time and time again. People complain about the same frickin' things while claiming that classic COD is the best of the best, and these are like, that's what peak COD gaming is, yet they don't want any of that back. They don't want the slower pacing of COD. They don't want that fast time to kill. They don't want the larger, more unique style maps that aren't just all strictly 3-lane. They want none of that stuff, yet and still in the same breath, they will say that all of those are the best games out there. I don't know, guys. Like I said, when I saw this post, I couldn't help but chuckle, because it's true. The Call of Duty community can be quite hypocritical sometimes. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit a bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, guys are interested, can link the channel in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.